welcome to another exciting episode of your favorite entertainment show, Chill and Crack. Yes, this is the place where we go up and down simultaneously. We chill down and we crack up. It's a whole lot of fun that we have right here. Today, we'll be taking you through a very exciting event that took place in our community. We'll also be taking you through a talk with one of the finest from the Cameroonian music industry. That is a part you don't want to miss. We'll also be giving you tips. You artists will be giving you tips on how to make a living with your career. That is the package we'll be unveiling when we come back from the break. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Chill and Crack, the place where we have all the fun in the world while getting informed at the same time. Straight away, we'll be diving into the first segment of the show. We'll be revisiting the Comedy Clinic show, which took place in Boya a while ago, featuring the great comedian from Nigeria, Gordon. Let's revisit what happened during that show.
This is Senior Pastor of the Laughing Ministry. It's great having you.
Thank you.
As a Christian, if you want to get purpose in your heart, do a one job. Some money don't go for occasion. If you don't, it's what yellow yam for the buffet. Now they call yellow yam. Before me want to put up buffet, yellow yam don't finish it. They put pineapple for that same space. Pineapple yellow. Children of God, I mean also they don't change them. You go take the first slice of pineapple. Go for ndole. Put that. Exist. Aju. All that.
You thrilled us, you gave us a nice time during this comedy clinic. Wow. What do you think? What's your impression about what took place here tonight?
I feel that from this night, Cameroon can build on the comedy, in fact, can build on showbiz generally, because the showbiz in Cameroon is down, but from this night, it can be a start of so many wonderful things.
I'm going to put me for mood man, I'm going to ask Michael Jackson. You know, say Nigeria, different dance, now with the dance. You remember Daddy Shoki for here? You remember Daddy Shoki? Daddy Shoki came with one dance, so my guy, I beg don't knock it on two, back to, any raga, where you see. Daddy Shoki made the background. No, the plan made the background. Daddy Shoki come one dance where they do like this. When I remember them, what do they call them? We call them Galala, Abi? Oh yeah, killer. After that dance, another dance came in Nigeria. When did they do like this? When I remember that, what about this one? You remember this one? How about this one? You know Tiki? What about this one? Yeah, who's it? What about this one? Azoto. They get one when they rain now. But before then, one rain before. They get one they rain now. What they do like this? Shakiti Baba. The dance I hate the most. Now the one when rain before Shakiti Baba. When somebody go do it. Are you an imbecile? How can a normal person be doing this? Look, let me tell you, that dance is for poor men. No, imagine now, His Excellency come here to do like this. Yeah? But imagine you watching TV and you see your president.
That was at my purpose of coming here wasn't to prove a point that I can do comedy. That would not be necessary. But I wanted to also see the possibility of having the younger people be exported. All right? That's why I said all these people should come. I wanted to actually watch them perform. They could be exported and trained properly to take the international stage, not just perform for Cameroonians, because you guys have your own language. But there is an international language that you can use to perform anywhere in the world. And I was very impressed. I was impressed by Zachary. Is it Zachary?
Yes, Zachary.
Zachary. I was impressed. It's by nigger. I was impressed by General. I was impressed by
Big Mami Agata.
Yeah, Big Mami Agata. And all this one, in fact, every comedian who performed today blew my mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a good note, you guys have done so well. You stayed on to this time. You responded to our call. Next year, we will do this stuff outside. Everybody will be accommodated. It's going to be bigger. I promise you next year, I will be here with Abororo. Next year, I will be here with Agodai. Who else do you want? Huh? Hold on. Who? Emile. Emile. Okay, hold on. You want Bozzy? Okay. You want basketball? What about Sheila? Huh? Who? Sheila. Who? Sheila. Okay, fine.
You're welcome back. That is how it went down during the comedy clinic show that held in Boya. And we must say we have some very fine comedians there coming from Cameroon. Right away, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving to the next part of this show. This is the core of Chill and Crack, where we'll be meeting our guest on the hot seat today. You don't want to go anywhere because this guest is one that you just have to listen to. That coming after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back from that very short break. We told you at the beginning of the program that we'll be having somebody really, really special on the hot seat today. And you know, on Chill and Crack, we bring you nothing but the best, the top people in the entertainment industry from Cameroon. Today, we've got the one, the only CEO, big man himself from M1 Studios. Please help me welcome Emile Ngomba Molindo. Oh, Uncle Emile, nice to have you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
It's good to have you over. Come to chat with us about your work and your contributions to the Cameroon entertainment industry. You're welcome.
It's my pleasure. You're welcome.
How are you doing today?
Well, everything belongs to God.
Really?
So if you're alive today, you say thank God.
Indeed. Well, that's nice. So straight to the point, without any waste of time. How did you get, you are a sound engineer and a producer, am I right?
That's correct.
Okay, how did you get started as a sound engineer?
No, at first I was a musician.
Really?
Yeah, when I mean a musician, it means I was an instrumentalist. Okay. I was a singer also. Many people don't know that.
Wow.
I used to have a group called the Salem Boys. We used to sing a cappella in places and so on, alongside Larry of Bam and some other kind of people. So that's how I began. But first, the person who brought me into music is my mom.
Wow.
So when I was 5, 6 years old, he bought me the first keyboard, the first piano.
Wow.
So I was just amusing myself with the piano, but not knowing that actually there is something because just playing the music was not part of my interest, but how the music come about. For example, if I'm listening to songs, maybe on the radio, on TV, I'm not interested in the whole song. I'm interested, how did it come about? What are the kind of equipment? What are the kind of instruments? So when they discover that, I'm interested in that kind of a thing. So they decided to take me to one parlor, like that one Igbo parlor, and give me a piano lesson. So let me begin from there. So I actually studied staff notation by reading and playing.
At that young age?
Yeah, at that young age. So I started playing in church, and I've been playing in church. So it's from church that I developed the interest of playing other instruments. And one guy told me that, fine, if you want to be more than what you have to be, we call it a polyvalent.
Yes.
So to be a good producer, you must know at least 14 instruments. So you see all those producers out there, and so they know at least 14, because you cannot program a song without knowing how a trumpet plays, without knowing the rudiments of a trumpet, the rudiments of a guitar. That's why when we listen to songs today, we know the difference between those that are musicians and those that are just software managers, those imitators, and so on. It's from their approach. We know that this is how a solo guitar is sounding. Many people put bass in the place of a solo guitar. They put trumpet in the place of a flute, and so on. So all that mixture, though it sounds nice, but the rudiments and musicality of it is very empty. Yeah. So I began from there. Then I had to play keyboard for one group called the Harbingers of Cameroon. The Harbingers. So they were the person who took me to the studio. There was one Dr. Epa Fidelis in my 4. He had a small home studio dealing with cakewalk and kind of thing. So they took me there to play keyboard. But when I entered that place, my idea changed about music. I said, now, after I played the keyboard, after they did the album, I went back to him and told him that, fine, this is what I want to do. This is the kind of thing I want to do. Forget about all this playing and playing in church and so on. I want to make that music that you're making. So he said that, no, he's not doing it for any commercial purpose. I said, no, fine, let me just work with you. So I had to bug him. The man refused 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I had to bug him until one day I went and brought one artist. That, okay, fine, this is an artist that I brought for you to produce, but I'll be helping the artist alongside. So, but you just have to teach me. You will not work anything, I'm just going to do. So he taught me for 1 week. And after 1 week, he had a golf tournament to play in France. So that's when he realized that, fine, okay, fine, let me just teach this boy, and let me go and see what he can do. So in his house, that's where we're doing the studio. So when he went to France and left me with the studio. So I had to take all those books and actually, first, I did software and hardware management in Pamenda.
Okay, I was coming to that.
So it was pretty much easier because there's a combination of music theory and rudiments, software and hardware management. Then now, he taught me the software. So when you get into the software, there are things you should know. Like, for example, when somebody sings, you have to know if it's between 4 and 4 beats, 12 and 16, if you're already on 6 and 8, what's the kind of tempo. So those are the musicality behind the making of real digital orchestration music. It's different from nowadays that people just they begin to work on tempo till it meets the beats. But in the way of playing it, you know that he's doing 4 and 4 on 12 and 16. Those are musical terms. I don't know if you understand.
I'm trying to. Okay, so basically you started from that little
home studio. That's where I started. So, but now me, I was a dynamic young man who want to go. So I told him that, fine, you're not working, you don't want commercial thing, but open a studio in town so that I will be working there and you will be benefiting. The man said, no. So when I went to university, I realized that, fine, let me not just do university. Let me also open a home studio. That was a practice ground. But by the time I opened the home studio, that was down there where I used to live. I did 1 or 2 demos for some people and so on. The next person I would see in the studio was Njomo Kevin. I asked that, yes, he said, no, I know you, Emile, so I want to do a spot. For that, by then he was with Poala FM in Bafoussam. He was a station manager there. He said, okay, fine, you do something for me for Poala FM. Take some guys, I'll give you some songs, you sing it, 1 minute, do some sport. So I took some guys, Brown Pilot, Wood Boy, by that time they were still young, Ronex, who is now in America, all of them. I said, okay, fine, let's do something for these people. We did it, and we sent it to him. It was okay, it was fine because there was a lot of young ideas, though the sound was not okay. We were still working on 24, 48 beats and so on, trying to do better sound. It was okay for him, and the idea behind was very unique. So the next person who called me after them was Leonard Chatelet. That I listened to what you did for this person. I want you to do a spot for me, for my program. That was called Machina Cafe. Yeah. So I did it. Then after about 1 or 2 weeks, I saw College George and Matibel. Still,
so your work was already speaking for itself.
It was speaking, yeah. I didn't put anything. It was not my idea. My idea was like I had somebody overseas who told me that, fine, I'm going to open you a studio, a church studio. That was Omega Gospel Center in America. So you just do a practice ground. So in my mind, I was not about to open any commercial studio. I was just opening a practice ground. That when I do this thing, I'll have some experience. And when I go over there, I'm going to work for, actually. But within 1, 2, 3, 4 months, things started happening. You know, the media is very fast when it concerns communication. By the time you get to Mount Camon FM, now, they gave me, I did their entire sweepers. We call sweepers, sport, radio, intro for news and everything and so on. And then KJ was still there, College George, Body and B, all these guys now. So they had to be giving me some slots in their programs that I should be coming there and doing it. By the time I knew it, I saw artists started coming that we didn't know there was a studio in the Southwest. Like Jumeloko, you know, all of them, Chike Chendong, Benny Hines, all of them started coming. I said, wow. So this thing was not for that kind of a purpose, but since as it is, let me just start doing it. That's when I start gathering now. I start taking guys now inside. So before I could open a studio, I was with friends, maybe UB Orchestra. By that time, we started the very first group of University Orchestra. So I had some guys there. When I told them that I want to open a studio, so my food told me that you cannot succeed opening a studio in Southwest. By that time, everybody was still skyrocketing Douala. So by that I told him that, don't worry, you'll be the first person to record in this studio that will open. And that was what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you know him. His name was Thierry Ndinda. He used to be a laureate of Music Star. That was 2003, something of that sort.
Okay.
Actually, so he brought his choir from Bulu. You know Bulu, you pass Yaoundé and so on. They had to leave, pass Yaoundé, pass Douala, pass everything and come and record here. That was the first choir I recorded. Wow. So all of that gave me an experience to know that, okay, fine, this thing can work. So I started looking now for musicians, started looking for people going to places now. So I left my place now. I will go and record a song. They'll give me a song. I said, let me go and record in Makasi. I'll go and pay and sit down. Now he's thinking that he's having a musician to come. But not knowing that he's having a student. So I came there, I came there actually see how they do their thing and so on. Then I move from there and go and see Jolie Priso, who is one of the best Makossa producer of all time. So those were my friends now. Sanfan Thomas, Jolie Priso, Joey's, and all those people. So those were my friends. So I didn't tell them that I even had a studio. So I was just going there like, now I want to learn this thing. Some of them will even drive me like Jano Bele. I will go to the bakery, buy something and come and give to them and just sit there and say, let me just watch. While I'm watching, I'm copying things. How do you master? How do you do this? When I came back... So
in another sense, you were stealing knowledge.
Actually, you can say that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how I began the studio.
Okay, wow. So after gathering all these little bits and pieces of knowledge, how did your studio M1 come about?
The studio came about when I realized that people need to record. There's a rough or raw talent around. Because by the time we opened the studio and I was in the University Orchestra, people start coming. I realized that we had like all these people like the late Shale who just died, and you have Zinia, you have Belle, you have Naomi Fro. There are a lot of them start coming. Then I realized that could fine.
You just mentioned something about people using the analog system at that time when you just started, and you were already delving a little bit into the digital world. Now, having experienced the two eras, what would you say is the big difference between the two, and which one is more efficient, which one is easier and does the work better?
I don't know if you're going to understand, but analog is on 22,100 kilohertz frequency. Okay. What it means is more heavier Digital work is, we're quoting on 44,000, 48,000, 192, 96. It means that the beats per minute, they are much. You understand? It's just like, let me give you an example. If it's 22,000, if you're going about dynamics, it's like that, maybe. Now, if it's 44, it's like that.
Okay.
If it's 96, it's like that. You understand now? Now, the clarity of sound is how many beats per minute, the dynamics. Now, I'll just say it the way you can understand.
Break it down, please.
Analog is more heavier than digital.
Simple.
But digital is more cleaner than analog.
Analog, okay.
That's why the digital works does not deal with the frequency of the ear. That's why people will listen to music on TV and on radio, but they'll appreciate it more when they see it live. Exactly. You understand?
Exactly.
So because the appreciation of your normal vocal hearing is analog, it's not digital. And that's why they are digital. If you're working on 196 kilohertz, you don't hear. If they export any sound on that, you cannot hear with the ear. So the ear appreciate sound that are from 22,000.
Okay.
So analog is more heavier. That's why when we do works, we do some kind of job, we still go back. Even in the studios nowadays, you see the boys to men, they are going back to analog because it's more heavier. It's more. You see all those We Are the World and all those things today. There still sounds. They still sounds very nice. But digital works, they depreciate. No, it's more cleaner and so on. But they are the medium of keeping. That's why you can have a CD. Now, in 1 week, that CD cannot play again, scratches and so on. But if you have a tape, whether it's dusty or not,
that's right.
You can remove all the dust. You can always clean it, and it plays, and you play with the same quality. Yeah, but digital works, there's a lot of scratches. There's a lot because we are doing with optical. They read, so any stain on it, but it's cleaner. So that's the difference, actually.
Okay. So those two can they be integrated to?
Yes, that's what we do today because we record you on digital base, but we mix it on the analog machines, and that's what I do. I don't know about other people to give the sound more heavier and more present. Yeah, than normal digital works. That is different between people who are software managers and those that are engineers. Yeah, because engineers, they are looking about the frequency of what they have. The software, they are looking about the clarity and the melody of the songs. Yeah.
All right. Now, taking a little away from you and looking at the bigger picture, you were there when the industry was just a little baby. It was very, very young. And you have grown with the industry right up to this moment. What would you say are the most striking things that have changed in the industry?
Well, I'll put it in simple terms. There is a content and there is a container. In the industry, there are two things. Some are selling their containers and some are selling their content.
I love that.
Yes. So, from time past till now, there's been a lot of improvement. But if you are not careful, it's going to go down, not going up. Why? Because now there are so many people getting in that are not the professional in the profession. And those are the people who are making the name to go up and down. Take, for example, if you're a singer now and you're a musician and you have that bass, that background, that rudiments. Now, the tendency of, like, for example, let me give you an example of Charlotte Depanda.
Yeah.
That's a very viable Cameroonian artist. Now, she started with Jano Hens and going from Jano Hens to Manu Dibango, from Manu Dibango. So that's a singer going up. Now he's with Guy Sanga, he's in France and so on. He's going a trend.
Yes.
And there is no way that she can come down. Because why? She has a rudiment. She's not only selling the content, she's selling her container too.
Exactly.
Her. From previous normal arrangement. But now, let's take for example that somebody I'm talking about the unprofessional and the professional. Yeah. The mixed beats maybe on E-Logic, E-Pro, Photo Loops and so on, mixed beats, and it boils into the ears of people and they appreciate the song. That doesn't make you an artist. That makes you just, your content at that time is good. Now, and those are the people that are prominent now, which are you give that content now, that song now. But now, what about the second? What about the third? Exactly. What about the musicality? What is the trend? That's why they will shine today, and the next subsequent time they are not there. Why? Because they were not trying to be musicians. They were trying to sell a content. You understand what I mean?
get it.
Now, what I'm saying is, if we are not careful, like when during World Music Day, we were interviewing some people around talking about music. Majority of those reasonable people, they say the youth are spoiling the music of today. But that's not the right statement to use. They are not spoiling the music of today. They are diluting the music of today because of improved technology. And if you keep on diluting the music, for example, nowadays, CDs, if you're selling CDs now, you're not a musician. People don't buy CDs because everywhere there is download, there's free YouTube, there's free everything and so on, there's download kind. People who want to see that artist in his compatibility on a platform where there are people to enjoy. Now, how many of these people nowadays can do that and you appreciate? That is the musicality now. So that's why if you go to Universal Studios like Sony, Universal Studios, maybe in America and so on, when you take your CD or your demo and go and give it to them, they appreciate it. They say, oh, this is good. Now, they create you they will create you a concert. Take some people there and they look for some musician and put you on platform and say, now, we want you to represent what you just did. For us to give you a signature and sign, we want to see you in that demo outside. So, in doing that, they will know if you're truly a musician or not. Yes, so that is the trend that many people are running away from. That is the trend that most of our young generation artists, they are running away from. That live aspect, that present aspect of musicality. It's not about studio. Most of our artists now begin their career in the studio. It is very wrong. You don't begin your career in the studio. You end your career in the studio.
To cut you short, I was just to come to that because very often you realize that there are artists who their music sounds very good, but when it comes to live performances, it's a sham. They cannot represent live in a live concert or, so.
That's why I said there are too many unprofessionals in the profession. Exactly. Yeah, for example, there's a whole lot of things in the digital works. There's what we call auto-tune, there's what we call melodyne, there's what we call pitch corrector. So there are many things. For example, as I'm talking with you like that, I can create a song with your voice talking and make it sound melodious, you understand? So those are the kind of things that they do. That's what we call cynical music. Cynical music, they are used for maybe films or maybe dramas kind of thing. It's not for the stage. You understand? So most of those whites who are doing cynical music, they don't even put your name. They are not artists. You understand? They do things to able to portray like drama kind of things and so on. So they are not artists. Maybe we are confused about that. So when we go there, I say, no, they are the one who created this software. They created the software to create sounds, probably for films, probably for games, those kind of things. But now, when they want to do music, they follow all the normal rudiments, norms of music. If you watch all these MTV awards and so on, those things that are in the CD and so on, they present it live. It's not playback. It's not, they present it live. So our youth of today should know that live aspect is what is going to make them to sound. Because music, as a whole, that's the only career that does not have a retirement age. Even at the age of 90, you're still employed. Like Anne Marie would know, she was still employed. She was still a musician. Like Manu Dubango, she's still a musician. So if you start your career in this way, in 1, 2, 3 years, you're not going to be a musician because everybody must have sung all what you know. You understand what I mean? Okay.
So basically what you're saying is, being an artist is not all about good sound. There is more to being an artist than just the sound.
Good. Let me explain something now. There's a difference between music and showbiz. Many people are confused between show business and music. Music, let me give you a simple example. Music is a combination of some constant, like musical equipment, with variables like your voice, putting it together to form a melody in total synchrony that people can appreciate. That's music. It means that I'm a musician. I have a guitar. I play a guitar, let's say on key C, I'm singing on C. I give maybe, now that's music. Now what follows that music now? What is your message behind what you want to do? Is it for inspirational purposes? Is it for commercial purposes? Is it for remembrance, for memory? Fine, that's aside. Now, in this thing now, you want to put it down into showbiz. Showbiz is where the commerciality comes now. How do I sell this product? You're talking of promotion for the whole world to hear.
Yeah.
You're putting things that people want to hear to be able to get. For example, if you want to catch a fish, you don't put just a hook there. You put something that the fish is seeing, but not seeing the hook. So that's the commercial aspect. That you put something people want to see, but maybe you put 1 or 2 songs, that commercial songs that people can appreciate.
Yeah.
Then now, when they come into your album, they begin to realize that this man has a depth.
That's very
Yes, like Muri Kante, if you listen to his songs, it is very different from the ones people are getting on TV and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, but now you cannot hear that one. You can only get the ones people are getting. That's showbiz now. Showbiz, you do t-shirt, anything about showbiz, about media, promotion, musicality, and all this. Now it's showbiz. Yes, but does not mean some people are into showbiz, but not into music. That's why they don't last.
Exactly.
Yeah, because commercial music has its lifespan. Like the P Square, Chiambah money you've been getting and so on. If you listen to it right now, it is like a turn to your ear.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was there. That's commercial. That's a disadvantage of singing because you want to do commercial songs. It doesn't last.
Okay,
Yeah.
talking about that, what would you tell an artist about you work in the studio, you come across artists, you have knowledge about the musical scene in Cameroon. What kind of genre would you advise any artist to do?
Well, that's a very wide question, you understand. The genres of music, they are like you say, it's like taking a glass of water and putting it in the ocean.
Okay.
It doesn't end. Now, but what actually will sell is that the ears of people, everybody wants a new thing. This will dress like that. Even if you wait 1, 2, 3 days, you want a new dress.
Yes.
You understand? That's how music is. People want a new thing. So artists need to create. Artists don't need to imitate. What we do now, 90% of them, they are imitating. You understand? Because maybe Davido did a 4-on-4 beat and it sounds nice and people are buying. Everybody is going there.
Wants to do that.
You understand? Now, deep within you, you don't have no creativity. Point number 1. Deep within you, you don't have a knowledge of what you are doing. So you are imitating. And imitation is like is dangerous because you can imitate and it doesn't work out. Number 1, you create. Anything about creation will always work.
Yeah.
From the very first time when God created heaven and earth, it always works. Yeah. When people created Coca-Cola bottle, it always works. So when you create something, that's what artists should know how to create. And how do you create? You look for all those successful albums of singers, not this one now, of 1980s, 1970s and all those things. Those are the people who come out with their thing. The Beatles, they come with their thing.
Yep.
You see, everybody comes with a thing. Now look at them. What is the aspect ratio? What you are talking? What are they giving? You talk about rock and roll, you talk about things that people created now. Now, in Cameroon, for example, we have about 200 and how many ethnic groups? With their tradition, with their culture, with the way they speak, with the way they dance. That should give an idea of artists now, what they should do. I could say the artists in Cameroon, they are lazy. Because they have everything to shine. But now, they go and look for somewhere that they feel comfortable. So they're singing at the zone of comfort. That's why you see a lot of hip-hop guys there, because they're not singers. Yes. All what the guys say is to speak. So when you come and do hip-hop, you speak. There is no creativity in that because those people are doing is their language. That's what they do. So when you begin to imitate 1, 2 lines and so on and put it down, what do you create? You don't create. There's no creation there. So what I'm trying to say that all these ethnic groups, like what some of the Cameroonian guys are doing, is good to develop their aspect ratio of their rap. Like you see, like Sarkodie, he's creating his own. That's his. Okay, this Ivoirian, how do you call him? DJ Arafat. That's his style. Nobody can beat him there. You talk about Sean Paul, that's his style. And that's why he answered one journalist like that in Nigeria, that is my thing. Nobody can do my thing more than me. So you call me here to come on stage because you know that I do my thing well. So that is it. But how many Cameroonians can boast that is my thing? That's what I do. That's my originality. Very few. But they are. Now the trend of music now is coming towards English because normally showbiz is English. Entertainment in the entire world is English. And that language, English, it has the entertainment world in musical orientation. So we should know how to blend with it.
Yeah.
What Cameroonians or what artists now should do, my advice is that take your culture that nobody can beat you on it. Now, put it into musicality. When I mean musicality, music is a general language. Everybody, even if you don't hear, it speaks to you. So now, if you want to be the world, that's what we call it urban songs, urban orientation, urban instrumentation. That even the whites, they can understand that, hey, this is hip hop, or this is salsa, or this is merengue. But now you're doing it with your cultural affinity. It means that you take some particular cultural sounds and put it and do a blend of all those things and so on. Chiambah doesn't sing in English, he's singing in Douala, but he's everywhere. People call him from Jamaica, and so why? He understood the language of music, and that's what they want to hear. He's giving them the language, then appreciating it with his voice. Okay.
Wow, that was really deep. Okay, now having worked with these artists and having seen their highs and lows in terms of how they perceive their careers, who would you say is the one Cameroonian artist that you think that is on the right track and others can emulate?
People don't only follow the content of your music. People follow your container. And that was what happened even in Britain, that they had to call for help for Beckham. Now please, these youngsters, they're following you. As you do a pong, everybody wants to do this kind of thing and so on. So please, you're a public figure, know how to do these things. Now, in Cameroon, there are people who are creating. Like Jovi, he's a creator. But now that's the content of what he's doing. But the container does not tie with the content. That's why he doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that, but that's how it is. You understand? Because people don't always buy the content. They want to see the container. Yes, you see Coca-Cola bottle, you like the Coke, but when you see the bottle, and one time like that, they were advertising the same content, but different container. People buy it like a new thing. You understand? So they have to, when you talk of Stanley, they have a good content, but their containers, they have problems. And that's why people cannot mesh the two. That's why it doesn't sound nice. That's why we always go back to old times. We always go back to the San Fantoma. We always go back to those people, because those people, if you look at them, they have they're largely to raise. Those are the people that we can be proud of. And those are the people that in the diaspora they are proud of. The Rishabona, the Guy Sange, the Charlotte Dipanda, they are proud of, because they have a voice, they have a content, and the content is right there. Now, back to our young people. There are many people that are creating something like Salatiel. He's just a good listener. He's coming up, and if he follows the trend, he's going to be somebody maybe tomorrow in the future, because he has something in him. Yeah, I've worked with him. I know what I'm talking about. Now, what they should know is that your talent can lead you to the highest mountain, but a simple mistake of your attitude can bring you down to zero. Exactly. Yeah, and that was what happened with my brother Petit Pays. Yeah, because the way he was going at that level of Ayo Africa, what do you call it, Awuza, all those things and so on. The trend was so key. He was skyrocketing until he had to go to. They had to invite him to Zaire to feature with most of those stars there. Until Kofi Olomide could say, "There's one artist in Cameroon, and that's Petit Pays." What happened after? He had to slap naked, doing some kind of thing and so on. Now, people, the reasonable committee, people who have money, they are not very comfortable with that kind of thing. Exactly. Yeah, you understand? Exactly. Youths don't buy CD. Youths, they promote you, but they don't buy CD and they don't give you money. The people who give you money are the corporate bodies, they're the stakeholders. Those are the people who give money. So if you're doing your songs, also remember that there are stakeholders. There are people who sit down like that and say, we're having a conference in Geneva. Exactly. I want you to come and stand there and do these things. I like that. Yeah, so don't believe maybe you want to attack maybe the nightclubs and all those things. People don't have money. They're going to enjoy themselves. They're not going to give you money. Yes, but the people who give you money, they are the corporate and the stakeholders. Yes. So when you're doing your song, when you are doing your innovation and so on, always think at the stakeholders too, at those corporate bodies.
And I think, Mr. Emile, I think this all starts with the vision. Like you said, there are artists in the profession, but who are not professionals. So it all starts with the mentality. There are some people who don't have a vision. They just want to sing for the moment and it goes like that. But people who have that vision that I'm heading somewhere, I have to get somewhere. I think what you're saying, though, take that into consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll just take a little break right now. When we come back, we're going to be talking more and getting more as well from Mr. Emile Ngomba Molindo. We'll be right back.